everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to be doing some time-lapse and working on some Halloween product ideas. So obviously I don't have any bats of any kind, which is actually really weird. And I need bats in my online store. How do you have Halloween without a bat? So I'm just kind of like sketching ideas of Halloween ornaments, like my ghost ones that I've done in the past, and making some pumpkin ones as well. And I kind of want the pumpkins to match with the ghosts in terms of their expressive faces. So the eyes and the mouth would be hollow, and everything else would be the plastic material. And I liked how that, looked. And then here, I'm playing with the idea of a second Kickstarter to continue with the pumpkin patch and baby pumpkin theme that I had for my last one. And I wanted this to be more of a world building and explorative type Kickstarter. So we'll still have another enamel pin, which is the Grumpy enamel pin, which I'll put a picture in here if you haven't seen it. And on top of that, I'm not sure if this will be a stretch goal or the first goal, will be showing the world that these baby pumpkins live in, along with the pumpkin prince and the fall spirit who helps keep the pumpkin patch safe. And I spent some time world building and getting some ideas down, and I figured it'd be cool to have like a little mini zine of just ideas for this, like who these characters are, what world they live in, the dangers it can have, and their personalities, like who the pumpkin prince really is, why he's the way he is, all that fun stuff. And yeah, so I'm kind of making some silhouette sketches of the fall spirit, who I really wanted to capture this nature appearance. And a lot of her inspiration comes from leaves. I didn't want her to be completely narrow. I wanted some, I don't know how else to say this, but I just wanted her to have more curves, more of a silhouette. She's not just a stick. She's inspired by leaves and nature and stuff, so, that's gonna have a lot of movement and stuff to it. And I'm also writing notes after the fact of how I want her to be. And I probably should have that in the beginning, so that way, as I'm doing the silhouettes, I'm always keeping that in mind. And it was actually a little more difficult than I thought, but once I got the vine type idea down, I was like, oh my gosh, that would be really nice, because that ties in with the pumpkin patch, because pumpkins have really curly vines. So, like that right there, that's my favorite one. That one's not my favorite one. I try to do something, I don't know, I was trying to take some inspiration from like leaves that have nothing to do with fall, or not fall, but nature, and it just didn't work out. I kind of like this a little bit because it's more one with the circles. I don't know, I kind of liked it, but not for this character. But the one with the check mark is definitely the direction I wanted to finally go in. And this is me just lining them up to see them all side by side and really make a decision based on the silhouette. So I liked that one with the check mark. But there's still something missing, because in my head I'm visualizing her as the spirit, so really flowy, that was missing in all this. So I gotta add that back in. So I decided to have her have like almost like a cape type thing, which would also work because the pumpkin prince has a cape. So I think that having these elements tie them together in the same world would really, really work out. So the last three designs are all spent with some type of flowy cape or some type of flowy fabric that would hook up to her dress or whatever it is. I didn't like this one. This one was too aggressive looking. However, as I was going along with this, I realized I could still take some of these elements and use them as different appearances depending on the mood, depending on maybe the season, because even though it is a fall themed pumpkin patch, they still have to go through seasons, because you know, winter happens, it's good for nature, right? This one I liked a lot. It had the flowy vines, it had the nice flowy cape. So I think between the check mark, the last one of those two. But I do need to make the head more rounded. And finally we got the pumpkin prince. And his design I want to be inspired by, obviously, pumpkins. Royalty, like old-fashioned Renaissance, back in the day, royalty, and scarecrows, which is, I don't know, it's a weird mix, but I just wanted that to be melded in together. So right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I want him to look as a silhouette that you could tell that he's a prince, right? So this took a lot of thinking due to the fact that if I made it too royal looking, then I could lose the scarecrow aspect I would want to add in later, which would basically be changing the material of the clothing, making it scraggly looking, just that old weathered look almost, or that burlap sack type fabric. I wanted that to kind of be in his outfit somehow. But I didn't want him to be too royal looking because his personality doesn't really match that. I mean, he calls himself the prince, but he's not really royalty at all. He just thinks that he is because he has a big responsibility and he needs to protect his little kingdom there, right? And I did like that the vines were going to be coming out of the ends of his sleeves. I thought that would really add on another element to it. And I can add a quick snapshot here of what my original sketch looked like of him. Yeah, this one I like it. The cape was long enough. There's enough going on there that I liked. But, like with the False Spirit, I realized I could easily just take some of these designs too and incorporate them in like later in the story for him or later in his life. Maybe he does look more royal later on. Maybe as he learns and grows, he does take on more responsibility and stuff like that. And that would be fine. Maybe he just starts off looking a little bit like a weathered prince instead, like he's just scraggly looking, not really, you know, fitting into his role, not really taking it too seriously, or not really understanding the seriousness of it, maybe. But as time goes on, maybe he becomes more royal, more mature, and that could reflect in his design, which I thought was, I liked that idea, but I don't know yet. And this is just some notes I have on the story, like ideas, world building. You know, what is the world actually like? What is the pumpkin prince like? The false spirit, the pumpkins. What do they need to survive? What places are necessary in the world? You know, all that fun stuff. Nothing major. Just jotting down some ideas. And then I'm also doing a lot of rebranding and redoing my website. So right now this is what it looks like, and for the most part this is broken. I don't even know what happened. I just, whatever, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. So this is like the layout of it now, and I liked the for what it was, it worked, right? But there's a lot left to be desired. Yep, there's my pumpkin prince, and it just needs to be updated. You know, I think I'm at a point where, as I'm rebranding, I can just completely redo all this. But to save time, I went and bought a template to use. I can just go and edit. This is just kind of like the work in progress of it right now. I'm gonna have some of these elements here sitting here. This might actually just change to a coffee link. I don't know if I want this to open up into a video. This will be some sort of banner, the portfolio. You know, I'll have the convention gallery and art gallery. So if I'm applying to conventions, I have all this stuff set up right here, and I don't have to link to my Etsy shop or make a separate account for a special site to apply with special images, because a lot will not accept a social media page or a shop link, which is totally fine. I totally get it. So I need to just put a convention gallery together. Like, here's a table that is like a year old now, and then all this stuff has to be changed. Obviously, it's just I just started like before I recorded this video, because I was making sure I had enough money to buy the template, and then that everything about it was going to be easy enough for me to move around and change to fit my needs, because I do need a color. I am redoing the color scheme as well. Like, all this is changing. The logo's changing. The peepers will stay. I love them. I'm proud that I built this by myself from scratch, like pure HTML, but it's to a point where I don't think I have enough time to really do that again, especially if I want to make this responsive. So if I do this and I want to view it on mobile, just close that. Now you can see this is automatically responsive on a mobile device, right? So for me to do this and set it up, it's so time consuming. It really is. And I did it before. Let me see if I can, okay. So this was my test to do a mobile friendly little page. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to go to conventions and allow people to get a free sticker if they became a peeper, which is basically a monthly email where you can get some sneak peeks of what I'm doing. It's not monthly right now, but I'm working on that. Excuse me. And, you know, just kind of give an incentive for people to sign up. And so I set this up, but it does work. You know, it does work on mobile. It's not perfect, obviously. It's still a little janky, but it's enough that I was like, oh, I can do it, right? But to set this up was such a pain. I mean, to do this for a whole website and to make it responsive so that when I do this, it adjusts accordingly. I mean, that's just like, no. It's not something I can really dedicate the time to right now. So yeah, that's this is the logo that I have I'm working on right now. I'm changing it to my online persona with the mask and the red hair and all that fun stuff. That isn't going to be reflective here, like she's not going to be solid colored, but right now I'm just kind of playing with different fonts, going to be changing the letters, maybe make something backwards, upside down, yada yada yada. It's obviously blue is not the final color, it's just how I'm working to kind of get an idea. The goal is to make it very similar to the old logo, which is limited color. I could easily, if I make a stamp out of this, it will work with just black and white. So that's kind of the goal for that. So it's a lot of work too, but I rather spend time making the logo and focus my efforts on that than wasting a lot of time working on the website, because that's just too much work. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and I do have new videos in the works besides this one. I just wanted to kind of get something together, show what I'm up to, what's happening. Yeah, so as always, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content from me. I'll be going over Krita 4.3 this week, as well as making a recreation of a classical painting, which will probably be later, because that's a little bit more time consuming. So much to do. Alright, hope everyone's doing alright, and I will see you guys in the next video.